Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Varsity Aces Live. My name is Darren Cooper, local sports columnist for The Record and NorthJersey.com. And tonight, it's all about track. And when we talk track in northern New Jersey, there's only one other person you got to talk to. And there he is, the former mayor of Bergen County, the snowbird, the South Carolina snowbird, my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Paul Schwartz. Schwa, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I'm in Jersey for the spring season and excited about it.
Schwa had a big, he might be quiet about this, but Schwa had a really big family event over the weekend.
Yes, my son got married. It was terrific. We had a backyard wedding in a small tent, and it was just wonderful on Saturday. It was a beautiful day, and he's now happily married. He and Maggie are happily married and living the good life.
But after you got home from the wedding, you did type in track results, though, right?
That's correct.
That is correct. Well, Schwa, we've got a big show, a good show. We got about Ed Grant a little bit. We're going to talk about Ed Grant a little later on in the show. But first, we want to talk to a couple of North Jersey's top track and field superstars right now, Mr. Schwa. Tell us about who our two guests are tonight.
Our two guests are both juniors. From Hawthorne, the multi-talented Briana Andreoli, who has not lost an event this season in 12 tries in various things. And we have one of New Jersey and Bergen County's best pole vaulters ever, junior Max Zuckerman, who cleared 15 feet 3 inches, but he can't be that good because he doesn't have the school record yet. So here they are. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Congratulations on a great start to the season. And clearly, for both of you, your sophomore year in track and field was cut short. About 4 days into practice is when we went into the pandemic, and we didn't come out of it at all in time for you to have a sophomore year. But fortunately, your junior year has started off very well in track and field. And I know, Briana, your junior year started off in soccer very well when you earned all Passaic honors for the third straight year. So tell us, what did you do in order to stay sharp so you could hit the ground running when soccer season started in the fall?
Well, I focused on practice every day. I made sure I got there. I made sure it was like my number one priority, and getting like homework done because of sports and focusing on schoolwork. Basically, I proceeded with soccer to like increase my chances in track, and I'm running in track to increase my chances in soccer. So I'm really mainly focusing on practicing and being there for the team and being a good teammate.
And what did you do at the beginning before school actually came back? What were you able to do to prepare yourself when practice started in the fall?
I was like able to do like club soccer. I was still able to do that. Even with the pandemic going on, I was still cautious, safe, and I was able to get workouts in practice with my teammates, and that helped me for high school sports.
Great. Now, Matt, I know the pole vault is almost a year-round activity, at least for training, and a lot of the more premier pole vaulters go to private facilities out of season in order to get training in. But the barn up in New York was closed for quite a period of time because of the pandemic. So what did you do to get prepared so that you could hit the ground running once your sport started?
So there's a bunch of things you can do for pole vault, including strength and speed training, which I tried to do as much as I could during the pandemic. For strength, I would normally just find anything around my house and just kind of lift, do anything. For speed, I live on a hill, so I would do some hill sprints with that. But to practice the actual vault, it's very hard to do without having like a pit and a pole and everything like that. So I got a pit for my backyard. And that's how I practice. And,
how did you do that? How did you create a pit in your backyard?
So I have a decently sized backyard, and we bought a pit on, I believe, Facebook Marketplace from a kid in Connecticut who was selling a pit, who vaulted. and we built up this runway, which is about 100 feet long, filled it with gravel, and then we put a pole vault mat, or not a mat, but like a fake runway on top of it.
Right.
So we have 105 feet of runway leading up to a full-size pit.
And how long is a normal runway in a pole vault? And like when you go to Riverdale this weekend, how long is the pit?
The runway up to the pit, I think, is like 140 feet, but my 8 step starts at 105. So plenty of room to do that at home.
Hey, Schwartz, I always want to ask the pole vaulters this question. How do you do it for the first time, Max? Like, I mean, what do you, and how do you look at the pole vault and say to yourself, I want to do that, right? You know, I want to run with a giant stick down a runway and then go over a line. What drew you to the sport, and what was it like the first time you did it?
So a couple years back, I went to a water park, and there was this like cliff jump, and every time you jumped, you get this feeling in your stomach of like weightlessness. And when I tried pole vault for the first time, I got that same feeling, and I was hooked instantly when I tried it. And I tried it because the previous year's SMOC champion was at our school. So I was like, I have to try if the best kid in the state is here. So that's how I started.
So what was the first time like then, Max? What was the first time like when they hand you your first pole? Like, I mean, what's it like to do it the first time?
It was bad. It was really bad. Yeah. It didn't go so well. It took a while. I mean, I think it took me a month to go from 7.6 to 10 feet. And then my second month, I went from 10 feet to 12.2.
Now, Briana, let me bring you into this. You're a very talented athlete. You're a basketball player. You're a soccer player. Coach Shell is always trying to get multi-talented athletes. Did he ever ask you to try it?
Pole vaulting, freshman year, there's another coach, Coach LaForge. He wanted me to try it. So I tried like the steps, but then Shell took me out because he knew I was like meant for like sprinting mainly.
But you also throw the javelin further than anybody in Passaic County in over 100 feet already in 3 consecutive meets. And Coach Shell thinks that could be your best event long term. What kind of skills? I mean, you obviously have the running skills, and Max is a pretty quick runner himself. And I have a feeling you could probably jump if you had enough events to do. Would you ever want to try the pole vault?
I would try it. I'm like, I'm a big like time person on like trying new things, so I would definitely try it.
Now, what is your favorite event, and why is it your favorite event right now?
Favorite event, 4x1.
Why?
Because of the team that I'm racing with is we're good individually, and together we're even better. So running the 100 with 3 of my teammates that are like extremely fast, almost as fast as each other, and we push each other. It's insane how far we get with the 4x1, and I think the 100 is the best race to run.
Hey, is there any running in the family? Any brothers and sisters? Any track background in the family?
No, there's no one that runs track in my family.
So wow, so you were the first one to go out and try to do this?
Yeah.
I also love Schwa. I am not a very good long distance runner, but I have been a runner for about 20 years now. But I always fascinated how sprinters train. Like, what if you feel like going for a run? Do you have to go to a track? Is it always speed work? You know, what's like a practice like for you, Briana?
A practice, like it would be like, so the steps for me at practice, I work on like A skips, and then I would work on my acceleration. At practice, I break like my sprints down into pieces, and then at the meet, I put them all together so I get even faster. And when I want to practice by myself, I would, of course, go to a track, but I would also go to like a track just because it has the 100 meters right there, so I can keep practicing it, or I could just use my block as 100 meters and run that.
Now, Max, you also run the 100 meter, and you also run on the 4x1 relay, and you also long jump. How do the sprints in each of your three major events, how do they work together? How are you able to make this? Because it's a different sprint in pole vault, but you're running fast. It's a different sprint in long jump, and of course, it's the flat-out sprint. How do you handle that?
So I think I like she said, you break it down into pieces, and I think the 100 meter and the 200 meter are a good way to practice my approach for pole vault, and long jump is a good way to practice my takeoff. And I really enjoy doing long jump in the 100 and the 200 because it really is similar to pole vault, and it is just the components broken down, and it's fun too. So.
And are you trying, and I'll ask this first to Max and then to Briana, are you trying to get a running pattern where each of your strides is as close to being equal as possible? Is that something that's a goal when you're sprinting?
For sprinting, yes. For pole vault, the first two steps are larger than the rest, and then you kind of accelerate once you hit the last two or the last 5 steps, and then it's a quick penultimate step on your last step.
And Briana, you throw the javelin as well as run sprints. Is there a difference in your approach in the javelin as opposed to your approach when you're sprinting?
I feel like during jav, I take 5 steps for mine. So towards the end of a race, I feel like my steps to javs is like towards the end of a 100 race, not the start, because the start of a 100 race will be like all out go. For jav, it's like relaxing and quick like feet, which I would do towards the end of 100.
And to wrap up this segment, Briana, what kind of goals do you have for yourself this season? What would constitute a successful season for you this year?
I would definitely like to see myself beat our school record for the 400. I think our school record's a 59 point something. So I would definitely look forward to being that. And my teammates encourage me and they keep pushing me, so I know I will make it. That's a huge goal for me. And
before you finish, your 4x100 school record is 51.60.
Ooh,
yeah,
Pretty close.
we got off by, I think, 0.2 seconds.
oh,
Right. So
oh.
but you've got a lot of chances. So there's another school record goal for you. What else were you going to say?
And then jav throwing a 110, which I'm
Okay.
trying to do.
Okay. And Max, what about your goals?
I think I have 2 goals. One is to break the county record, which is 15.8. And then I think I want to break 16 this year, and I know I can. So that's the goal.
What about a state championship?
Oh, that too. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be nice.
Are you excited that you'll be able to go to an outdoor meet of champions this year, assuming you qualify?
Yeah, and I love the meet and the competition itself, but like the people and all the pole vaulters and everyone, it's just such a community, and I just love competing against them. So that's one of my favorite parts.
Guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you. You've already gotten to a great start. Briana, it was fun watching you the other day. I'm looking forward to seeing you do a lot of things this year. And Max, I got the video, but the video came in the middle of the wedding. So I'll have to watch you live on Saturday at the Bergen County Relays.
Mm-hmm.
Schwartz, let's let these two go do some homework. I think they're good students too, probably.
I'm sure they are. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Briana. Good luck to
Thank
you this
you.
season.
Thank you.
You're watching Varsity Aces live here on NorthJersey.com. I'm Darren Cooper along with Paul Schwartz. And in just a minute, we're going to have our dear friend, actually, we can bring him on any minute now, Northern Highlands coach Tom Viscardi from his library, it looks like, in his house. Tom, it's always good to see you. We're going to pull back the curtain a little bit here, and I'll say that Paul and Tom and I are very close friends on and off the field. And that segues though to Schwa. You lost a very dear friend, a legend in the track community, a writer. I had the pleasure. You introduced me to Mr. Grant at Penn Relay several years ago, and I was awed by his presence and his knowledge. Carl Lewis just wrote about Ed Grant. I saw you posted that a little while ago. So sum up, you can't, but talk a little bit about your friend Ed Grant, Mr. Schwa.
Thanks, Darren. We lost Ed Grant yesterday at the age of 94. And, we always say, oh, what a great life and a long life. And Eddie had one of the greatest lives there ever could be. But we still lost him too soon because we overused the term legend, but the term legend was invented for Eddie. I knew Eddie for more than 40 years. I wrote about not the first time I met him, but the first time I spent substantial time with him back in 1980 at a huge race. That's me with Jim Lambert, Jerry Carino, and Ed's oldest son, second oldest son, Edward, at Penn Relays. I think it was in 2019. And, he was my track and field idol, and I used to call him my Catholic father because one of the things we didn't get to talk about in today's story was he was a raconteur as well as a track guy. He could talk about so many things. He spent more than 30 years on the staff of the Advocate, which is the largest Catholic newspaper in the Archdiocese. And he was a very learned man, would talk about the classics, would talk about basketball, would talk about track. And I tried to emulate my track and field coverage after him. Darren, you're kind enough to call me the mayor of Bergen County. Eddie was the governor of New Jersey. Yeah, everywhere he went, he knew, not only did he know everybody, they all knew him, and he knew all of their backstories. He knew their father, he knew their mother, he knew their uncle, what they had done. And I'm sort of a junior class version of that. And I've been fortunate enough to follow in his footsteps in so many different ways. And I've tried to bring to my coverage the passion and the love that Eddie ever did. The story's all about Olympians today and their comments, but a lot of kids who weren't in the Carl Lewis, John Marshall, Joetta Clark class could tell you stories about Eddie because he loved all of them and they loved him, and I'll miss him every day. I really will.
Yeah, it'll be different going back to Penn. I eagerly kind of await what kind of tribute they'll do. For sure.
I'm sure they'll do something very nice. He was, 74 years in a row he had gone to Penn. He was honored 3 different times with the press award that I was grateful to get a couple of years ago. But he also received the honorary referee award, which is even a higher award. And then he and his entire family were honored with the George Steinbrenner Award a couple of years ago for the family that's done the most for the Penn Relays. And he's just someone, if you met him, you won't forget him.
All right, let's swing over to another raconteur of Northern New Jersey, Northern Highlands jack of all trades coach, Tom, the one and only Tom Viscardi. Tom, that was one of the first things we had wanted to. Balancing everything, swimming, volleyball, and track. How hard was it for you, my friend?
Well, I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate the vocabulary lesson on raconteur. How do you say that again, Paul? But raconteur. God, I'll use that. I'll use that tomorrow in my classes. No, it was definitely a unique year with the 3 sports. I had done a fall sport a handful of years. I did soccer and I did volleyball, and I had taken a few years off. And then when the pandemic hit last spring, I really miss coaching. I do enjoy teaching, being in the classroom, but coaching, you just get a different relationship with the students, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I missed it a lot in the spring. We had a really nice team. It was tough to see them go, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to coach volleyball in the fall. I wasn't even sure if I was going to work that summer. I work at a lake, and I wasn't sure if that was going to open, so I had a lot of time, and I'm like, let me give this a shot. And then, of course, unfortunately, they took that season from the fall and they stuck it right in between swimming season and track season. So that was a unique surprise. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to figure out how to get this work out. Our school schedule is a little bit easier where, we don't have quite full days, but it made for quite an interesting spring break where I was 8 o'clock in the morning for swim and then 3 o'clock in the afternoon for volleyball. But it worked out. It worked out. I have to say, physically, I thought it was going to be really hard, but I was okay physically. The hardest thing is sometimes was mentally, just even transitioning back from sport to sport. Because when you're doing something, you really kind of get into it. And going back and forth was a little harder for me to do than I thought it would be, actually.
Was there ever a time you got confused as to where you were supposed to be and what sport?
It's a big difference between a pool and a volleyball court. So that setting helped me out, I think, to tell the difference. But yeah, like I said, every once in a while, your mind is totally one place and you got to shift gears to go to the next. And the best part about it all was the kids were phenomenal. We had swim practice at 5 a.m. a lot of the season because that was the pool time the Y would give us. Kids were always there. They showed up and they worked hard. And it was a pleasure to be there. And the volleyball team was a lot of fun. The girls were really into it. They were a strong team. They really came out knowing the sport a lot, so it took a lot off me. I actually teased them at one practice like a week or two into the season. I said, girls, I have a secret for you. I never played volleyball. And they all just started laughing like, yeah, we figured that. So it was really great. I really definitely enjoyed it. And, then track started up and that's the sport that I did actually in high school and I'm the most familiar with. So it was great to get back into it. Actually I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to be rusty not having done it last year. So, you did a little refresher and things like that, but it all came back pretty quick. And the kids have been outstanding, I have to say.
I'm curious. I'm sure Schwartz heard this too from his coaching. But the kids, do you feel that they're refreshed and have almost like a renewed sense of gratitude to get this opportunity to play? Because not everybody's playing. Not everybody. So the kids who were swimming, the kids who were playing volleyball, and the kids running track right now, do you pick up on like a different sense of gratitude from the kids?
You really do because I didn't spend a ton of time with attendance and things like that. You just expect your athletes to be there, but it's not even an issue. The kids are there every day. They're working hard. And if they have to miss for something or something's going on, they're sending you emails. And you can tell they just want to be there. In the past, we've had more athletes out for spring track. Taking that year off, I think, was a little tough decision for some people who were maybe seniors this year, maybe thinking like, oh, I only did this my sophomore year. I didn't do it last year. And I want to go spring break is an issue for us and things like that. But a lot of the kids, they came back and have been working real hard and obviously excited to be there. And it's just such a pleasure for us to be able to coach those kind of athletes. And it makes just a big difference.
Now you've had, and we saw a picture of a relay team with a plaque they won last Saturday, but you've had 2 dual meets and you brought a bunch of kids to the Garden State Twilight Relays last Saturday for a lower key of a meet. Now your first major meet of the year is the Bergen County Relays, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Are your kids, I don't mean physically ready, because I'm sure they're as physically ready as any other team, but are they ready for the shock of coming back into a meet with 1,000 kids going to be there this weekend? Are they ready to see that?
So, a lot of these kids have never done it ever. So the kids that were coming into the meet, it's not even coming back to something that they've seen a year and a half ago. It's like, it's going to be quite a culture shock for a lot of the kids for sure. And that's exciting too, because a lot of the students aren't 7th and 8th graders saying, I can't wait to get to high school and do track and field. Unfortunately, it's still one of those sports where kids kind of just fall into or come from another sport and want to try it. So, they're going to come out there and think, oh, I don't really know what it's about. We've been, like you said, to a dual meet with just one other team, and one was actually tri meet, but it is not going to compare to what they're going to see this weekend. There's going to be a lot of hopefully organized chaos, I guess is the best way to put it.
How much are you going to depend on your seniors, kids like Bryn Madonna and Conroy, and on the boys' end, your top seniors who at least have some experience in dealing with this? How important are they going to be, not even on the track or in the field, but actually in helping you get these kids to get to the right events at the right time?
Definitely. It was funny in the beginning of the year, we started off at practice and I love practice. Practice is my favorite thing. And we're always talking about different strategies and I always pull a couple of kids out and ask them questions. And I turn over to one of my juniors because she's a little more experienced on the team. And I asked her a question like, wait a minute, she's only been on this team as a freshman. It's funny to say that. And the seniors have only been on the team freshman and sophomore year. So they have a big leadership role, a big jump to go to. And I tell you, they have been fantastic. I wasn't sure what the senior class would necessarily be like. Like I said, not having been here junior year, our school rule is if you go away for spring break, you can't do the sport. They all came out. They've all been really stepping up, showing great improvement also. And yes, we're definitely going to rely on this weekend to show the younger kids the ropes and what's going on. And they become like an extension of the coaching staff.
What do you expect out of this weekend? What do you expect from your kids?
By the way, audience, he's already plotted it all out. He's already sitting there with all the results. He's already scored it. We know Tom really well, but he's not going to tell us what he knows.
Well, we'll see what happens. We're looking for some nice performances from our athletes. Again, honestly, we started the season with I have nobody in this event. I have no one returning in that event, and to credit to my coaching staff and to the athletes, all of a sudden we have a couple kids in every event that look really nice and really strong. And we're looking to use this as a barometer to not only see where we are, but where the teams are as well. We're mostly focused on us, obviously, and all we could do is worry about ourselves and keep trying to get better. But it's going to be good for them to also see what else is out there and hopefully give them extra motivation where, okay, I'm pretty good now, but this is also now where I need to get to for the next level. So I think we're looking to be competitive in every race and also see what we need to do to continue to get better.
And to wrap this up, because we're starting to, we don't want to keep people away from the riveting whatever is on. Don't even talk about it.
Is there a score right now? Don't tell me.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about it.
Oh, the Yankees doing well.
Oh, I don't know about the Yanks. I'm talking about the Major League team. But in any event, I've always said that the Saturday of the Bergen County Relays is the single largest sporting event in New Jersey every year in terms of numbers of participants. And while it's going to be a little smaller this year, it's still going to reach that level. When you come to Saturday, assuming everything is okay, weather-wise and whatever, are you excited about seeing a large contingent at Riverdale from all over the county again?
I mean, that's what track has become, and it'll be good to see that back again. It just creates such a wonderful atmosphere for these kids who, like I said, are used to just playing against another team in another sport, going out to something like this where there's just athletes all over the place, and obviously there won't be spectators this meet, which makes sense, but there'll still be a large number of people there, and it's just you can't explain it to the kids until they actually see it, and I'll be interested and excited to see the look on their faces.
All right, Mr. Viscardi, it was good talking to you. I'm sure you'll probably text us later.
You got it.
Thank you for a few minutes of your time. Good luck.
Thank you so much, guys. My pleasure.
Thank you. We'll see you on Friday. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll actually be there tomorrow.
Sounds good.
You can check out all of the track coverage on NorthJersey.com. Mr. Schwartz, the Yonkers Relays, it is a very big meet. It is a very big meet here in Bergen County the next couple of days. So that'll wrap up our show. I want to thank our guests tonight, Tom Viscardi, Northern Highlands track coach, Briana Andreoli, a rising star at Hawthorne, and Max Zuckerman from Pascack Hills, the pole vaulter extraordinaire. Mr. Schwartz, any last thoughts?
No. The only thing is I wish I had brought my Irish cap from South Carolina. I'd wear it in memory of Eddie this week, and I'll wear it for him in the future.
Very nice thought. All right, that'll close out the show here. Remember, I'm Darren Cooper from NorthJersey.com. So let the coaches coach, the players play, and the officials officiate. Let the Varsity Aces tell you what you need to know. Good night, everybody.